I want to go to President Biden. President Biden, your first day of office, you signed an executive order to protect the life and safety of transgenders. I have no problem with that. But you did it on your first day. But he sat up here with you, Charlamagne, and told black people that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
So if you went out of your way begging black people to vote for you, why haven't we got an executive order or any other activity coming out of the Oval Office from President Biden to protect black people from police?
I agree.
Look what he's doing with the anti-Asian hate. President Joe Biden signed an executive order that is exclusive to Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. I don't have a problem with that. But if you can protect the Asian American and Pacific Islander from violence, why can't you do the same thing for black people? They've been dealing with violence for 1 year as a result of COVID. That's what it's called, the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Bill, to protect Asians as a result of discriminatory treatment that they've been dealing with for how long? 1 year. Black people have been catching hell for 400 years, and we have yet to get an executive order from Joe Biden to protect us from the police. And also, Charlamagne and Envy, to further highlight the racism of American government, the transgender executive order is not for people of color. It is not for minorities. It is not for disadvantaged communities. Guess who it's for? Transgender, the anti-Asian Pacific Islander hate executive order against hate is not for people of color. It's not for minorities. It's not for disadvantaged Americans. It is exclusively and only for Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. Why am I bringing that up? Because when Barack Obama was in office, all these Negroes running around screaming for Obama, I still don't know why, was said that Barack Obama can't do nothing specifically for black people because this is America. And when we got the Civil Rights Bill in 64 and the Voting Rights Act in 65, they included 2 words at the end of that. One was gender and the other was sexual orientation. So the Civil Rights Bill did not only apply to blacks, it applied to everybody. So if you have to make laws for all Americans, Charlamagne and Envy, how do you explain the fact that the Asian Americans got a law just for them? Yesterday, the United States Senate, in historic precedence, passed the anti-Asian hate crimes bill at a vote of 96-1. Now, to give you an idea of what that means, the Senate, they don't agree on nothing. The Democrats and Republicans, they filibuster each other to death. But yesterday they didn't. 96, only one person voted against the anti-Asian hate crimes bill. So can I ask you a question? If the Senate was able to pass the anti-Asian hate crimes bill, Charlamagne and Envy, 96-1 with almost no opposition, why is it that the Emmett Till lynching bill still has not been approved? Why is it that there have been over 200 different anti-lynching bills introduced in the U.S. Congress? 200! And not one of them has been approved by the U.S. Congress yet. But the first ever Asian bill goes through on the first try. Look at the racism. Look at the discrimination. Look at the bias. Look at the inequity there. And why are they catering to the Asians? You know why? Because the amount of white people in this country is shrinking.
That's right.
And whenever the amount of white people in America shrinks, America looks to find other white groups or other minority groups that they can build an alliance with to protect their power and their interests. Who better than the Asians? They're just as conservative politically as many middle-class white Americans. They are just as economically comfortable as many middle-class white Americans. They don't like black people just as much as many middle-class white Americans. Not to mention that this can go a long way towards building relationships with Asian countries on the continent of Asia. And they're going to use the Asians, okay, as probationary whites. They're going to upgrade them to probationary white status to make sure that they stay on the side of the white man and not go on the side of the black man. This Asian agenda is a distraction from the issues that are affecting black people. How do you sign an executive order for the transgenders, executive orders for the Asians? He has signed nothing for black people. And part of this is our fault because we didn't make no demands on Joe Biden before he got elected. We didn't make no demands on Joe Biden before he got elected. And you know why Joe Biden ain't going to do nothing about police genocide? Because number one, it's acceptable in America for police to kill blacks. That's number one. And number two, he can't afford to isolate conservative Democrats and middle of the road Republicans as it relates to him getting approved all the legislation he wants to get carried over during his presidency. So Joe Biden got to make a decision. I either got to stand up for black people, you understand? Or I got to keep white people comfortable enough to approve my legislation. And what is he choosing? He's choosing his legislation over the lives of black folks. But the problem we made as a community is we made Donald Trump the scapegoat for racism. Just like we made Barack Obama the angel, you understand, for government, we made Donald Trump the devil. You don't do either one of those. The U.S. government is a system. It's not a person. So when you make Donald Trump the scapegoat for all of American racism, you let the government off the hook. You don't reduce a system as powerful as this to an individual or a personality. But the problem we made as a community is we made Donald Trump the scapegoat for racism. Just like we made Barack Obama the angel, you understand, for government, we made Donald Trump the devil. You don't do either one of those. The U.S. government is a system. It's not a person. So when you make Donald Trump the scapegoat for all of American racism, you let the government off the hook. You don't reduce a system as powerful as this to an individual or a personality. Look at Deshaun Watson down in Houston, Texans. Most of those massage girls were white, and we all know he didn't do it. The reason Deshaun Jackson is being lynched is because he wanted to leave the Houston Texans. And so the white power structure of Houston said, this Negro is not going to march into our city and think he leaves when he wants. We just had James Harden pull this same nonsense with the Houston Rockets. We are not going to let Deshaun Jackson pull it with the Houston Texans, and they're going to destroy that man's career because he wanted to walk out. The massage parlor talking about something. I came back into the room and he was totally naked. Aren't you a masseuse? Don't you touch naked bodies all the time? Isn't that part of your job? I never heard you say he raped you. I never heard you say he forcibly done something to you. Oh, he bumped me, or he moved my hand over. Excuse me? That doesn't raise to the level of a crime. And if you notice, he ain't been charged yet. Where are the charges at? 22 women, no charges? Because the man ain't guilty. They trying to Bill Cosby to Deshaun Jackson. Because the new racism, Charlemagne, and the new racism, DJ Envy, is to make the victim look like a perpetrator. So white supremacy in the 21st century wears a disguise known as feminism. And white supremacy in the 21st century wears a disguise known as LBGTism. And white supremacy in the 21st century wears a disguise known as multiculturalism. Whenever we want to destroy a black man, if we want to get Charlemagne, if we want to get Envy, if we want to get Dr. Umar, we're not going to give him with the traditional frontal white man assault, just outright destroy him, because that's not a politically accurate. We're going to find something DJ Envy said about gays or transgenders from 20 years ago. We're going to pull that up and use that to lynch him. We're going to find something Charlemagne said about the anti-Asian hate propaganda and pull that up. We're going to find something Dr. Umar said about women 50 years ago and pull that up. They are lynching black males publicly, an all-out war on black masculinity, and they're using feminism, multiculturalism, and LBGTism to do it. Deshaun Watson is innocent. And I just want to say to black America, I know we going through a lot. The times is tough. We've been through worse. We will come through this, but we got to organize. Stokely Carmichael said, if you organize a little, you get a little done. If you organize some, you get some done. But if you don't organize at all, you don't get nothing done. The most honorable Marcus Garvey said, the greatest weapon used against the Negro is disorganization. So we have to organize, mobilize, energize, and then we can transform this society. Joe Biden, you owe us, and we ain't gonna wait around. Make something happen, sir. Black people voted for you. You owe us that much. You gave them an executive order. Now give black people an executive order.
My nigga.